All right, so get ready because today we're going to unlock the secrets to landing that dream job as a bioinformatics scientist.
Yeah.
We are diving deep into interview prep using some awesome resources from RoleCatcher.
Yeah, RoleCatcher is really like having a personal career coach
Right.
and an AI assistant all rolled into one.
I love it. So before we jump into the actual interview questions, let's just paint a picture of what a bioinformatics scientist actually does day to day.
So RoleCatcher defines it as someone who analyzes biological data,
Okay.
builds databases, performs statistical analysis, and collaborates with other scientists. But what does that really look like day to day?
Yeah,
Think of yourself as like a detective,
I love that.
but instead of solving crimes, you're
Yeah.
solving biological mysteries.
Right.
You might be analyzing DNA sequences to identify disease-causing mutations,
Wow.
or developing algorithms to predict drug interactions, or even building models to understand complex biological processes.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
And the job outlook is incredibly promising, right? Especially in fields like healthcare and pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, the demand for skilled bioinformaticians is skyrocketing.
It is.
The amount of biological data being generated is exploding.
Yeah.
Companies are scrambling to find professionals who can make sense of it all.
So how do you stand out from the crowd and land that dream job?
Wow.
Acing the interview is key.
Yeah, acing the interview is definitely key.
RoleCatcher has compiled this list of 10 common interview questions for bioinformatics scientists.
Yes.
We're going to tackle these one by one and give you insights into what the interviewer is really looking for.
Yeah, and how to craft a winning answer.
Okay, so first up, what experience do you have with next-generation sequencing? RoleCatcher tells us this question is designed to gauge your familiarity with these technologies and how you've applied them in real-world scenarios.
It's not enough to simply list the sequencing platforms that you've heard of.
Right.
The interviewer wants to hear about specific projects where you've actually used next-generation sequencing. Did you analyze RNA-seq data to study gene expression?
Okay.
Did you work with whole genome sequencing to identify genetic variations? The more detail you can provide, the better.
Okay, so what if you haven't used the specific platform they mentioned? Should you try to bluff your way through it?
Definitely not.
Oh, good.
Honesty is always the best policy.
Okay.
Acknowledge that you haven't used that particular platform,
Yeah.
but emphasize your willingness to learn and your ability to adapt your skills to new technologies.
Okay.
You could even mention specific courses or tutorials you've taken to familiarize yourself with different platforms.
That's a great point. It shows initiative and a commitment to continuous learning. So let's say you nail that answer. What kind of follow-up questions could they throw your way?
They might ask you to describe the challenges you faced in analyzing sequencing data,
Okay.
or how you ensured the quality and accuracy of your results.
Okay.
They could also delve deeper into specific aspects of the technology, like library preparation methods or data analysis pipelines.
Yeah. So be prepared to go beyond the basics.
Okay.
On to question number 2. What programming languages are you familiar with? This one seems pretty straightforward, but what are they really looking for here?
They want to assess your coding proficiency
Okay.
and how it applies to bioinformatics.
Okay.
List the languages that you're comfortable with,
Right.
like Python, R, Java, Perl.
Okay.
But go beyond just listing them. Highlight specific projects where you've utilized those languages for bioinformatics tasks.
Okay, so instead of just saying, I know Python, you could say, I use Python to develop a script that automates the analysis of microarray data.
Exactly. The more concrete examples you can provide, the better they can assess your skills. And don't forget to mention any specialized bioinformatics libraries or packages that you've worked with, like BioPython or Bioconductor.
Those are important. Great advice. Now, RoleCatcher also warns against exaggerating your skills.
Yeah.
What are some common pitfalls to avoid here?
It's tempting to claim proficiency in a language that you've only dabbled in, but interviewers can often spot insincerity.
Yeah.
Be honest about your strengths
Uh-huh.
and emphasize your willingness to learn new languages as needed.
Right. It's better to be upfront than to get caught in a technical deep dive you're not prepared for. Now, let's say they're impressed with your coding skills. What kind of follow-up questions might they ask?
They might ask about your experience with specific data structures or algorithms commonly used in bioinformatics.
Okay.
They could also present a hypothetical coding problem and ask you to walk them through your thought process for solving it.
Oh, so be ready to showcase your problem-solving skills. Okay, let's move on to question number 3. How do you stay up to date with the latest developments in bioinformatics? This one seems to be all about demonstrating your passion and commitment to continuous learning.
Absolutely. Bioinformatics is a rapidly evolving field,
It is.
and employers want someone who's actively engaged in staying current.
Okay.
Share specific examples of how you stay informed. Do you subscribe to scientific journals like Bioinformatics or Nature Biotechnology?
What about attending conferences or webinars? I bet those are great ways to stay on top of the latest trends.
You're absolutely right. Mentioning specific conferences you've attended or webinars you've participated in
Yeah.
shows initiative and a genuine interest in the field.
And what about online communities or professional organizations? Are those worth mentioning?
Definitely. Being part of online forums
Okay.
or professional societies like the International Society for Computational Biology, or ISCB,
Yeah.
demonstrates your engagement with the broader bioinformatics community.
I like that RoleCatcher also cautions against giving generic answers like, I read articles online. Why is that such a common mistake?
It lacks specificity,
Yeah.
and it doesn't showcase your genuine engagement with the field.
Right.
Instead of just saying, I read articles, mention the specific journals, blogs, or websites you frequent.
Right? Show them you're not just passively consuming information, you're actively seeking out knowledge and staying ahead of the curve. Now, let's say they're impressed with your commitment to continuous learning. What kind of follow-up questions could they ask?
They might ask you to discuss a recent breakthrough in bioinformatics that's particularly exciting to you.
Okay.
Or they could ask how you apply your knowledge to stay ahead of the curve in your current role.
So be prepared to share your enthusiasm and insights. All right, let's tackle question number 4. Can you describe your experience with machine learning algorithms? This one's getting a little more technical.
It is, but it's also a great opportunity to showcase your expertise.
Right.
Be prepared to discuss the different machine learning algorithms you're familiar with. Think about algorithms commonly used in bioinformatics,
Like?
such as random forests support vector machines,
Uh-huh.
or even deep learning techniques like neural networks.
So don't just throw out technical jargon. Connect it to real-world applications. What are some examples of how machine learning is being used in bioinformatics?
Machine learning is being used to predict protein structure,
Okay.
identify disease biomarkers, classify different cell types,
Okay.
and even design personalized therapies.
Wow.
The possibilities are truly endless.
That's amazing. Now, RoleCatcher warns against overselling your knowledge. What's the best way to handle this question if you haven't worked with a particular algorithm they mention?
It's perfectly fine to acknowledge that you haven't worked with that specific algorithm,
Okay.
but focus on the algorithms you are proficient in
Okay.
and explain how you could apply your knowledge to learn new ones quickly.
Right. It's all about showcasing your adaptability and willingness to learn. And speaking of learning, how does RoleCatcher actually help with tailoring your answers to specific job roles?
RoleCatcher's AI analyzes the job description you're applying for
Okay.
and identifies keywords related to skills, experience, and even company culture.
Wow.
It then provides personalized feedback on your answers, suggesting improvements to ensure you're highlighting the most relevant aspects.
That's incredible. It's like having a personal career coach who knows exactly what the hiring manager is looking for. Okay, let's get back to our interview questions. Question number 5 is all about problem solving. How do you approach troubleshooting when faced with unexpected results? What are they really trying to gauge with this question?
They want to assess your analytical thinking, your problem-solving skills,
Okay.
and your ability to think critically under pressure. Bioinformatics involves a lot of trial and error,
Yeah.
and employers want someone who can troubleshoot effectively when things go wrong.
So how do you craft a winning answer for this one?
Describe your process for identifying the root cause of a problem. Do you start by checking the data for errors?
Okay.
Do you review your code line by line?
Okay.
Do you validate your assumptions?
Okay.
Walk them through your troubleshooting strategy and highlight specific examples where you successfully solved a challenging problem.
What are some common pitfalls to avoid here?
Don't come across as someone who gives up easily or blames others when things go wrong. Emphasize your persistence, your resourcefulness, and your ability to learn from your mistakes.
Right. Show them you're a proactive problem solver who can handle the inevitable challenges of bioinformatics research. Okay, let's move on to question number 6, which focuses on data visualization. Can you describe your experience with data visualization tools? This one seems pretty crucial for a bioinformatics scientist.
Data visualization is essential for communicating complex biological information effectively, both to other scientists and to non-technical audiences.
Okay.
Be prepared to discuss your familiarity with various data visualization tools,
Such as?
like ggplot2 and rmatplotlib in Python,
Yeah.
or even interactive tools like Tableau.
So it's not enough to just say, I know how to make graphs.
Right.
What are some specific examples you could mention?
You could talk about how you used ggplot2 to create heat maps of gene expression data,
Okay.
how you used matplotlib to visualize protein structures,
Okay.
or how you used Tableau to create interactive dashboards for exploring genomic data.
Wow. And what are some common mistakes to avoid when answering this question?
Claiming expertise in a tool that you've only used superficially, it's better to be honest and focus on the tools you're truly proficient in.
Okay, let's tackle question number 7. How do you ensure the quality and accuracy of your data analysis results? This one seems all about attention to detail and producing reliable results.
You're absolutely right. Quality control is paramount in bioinformatics.
Yeah.
Describe the measures you take to ensure the integrity of your data and the validity of your findings. Do you perform rigorous data cleaning and pre-processing?
Okay.
Do you validate your results using independent data sets or methods?
Okay. What about statistical testing? Is that something you would mention?
Mentioning specific statistical tests you use to assess the significance of your findings shows that you understand the importance of statistical rigor in bioinformatics.
Okay. And what are some things to avoid saying when answering this question?
Don't give the impression that you cut corners or skip important steps in the analysis process. Emphasize your meticulousness and your commitment to producing robust and reproducible results.
Great advice. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground already. Before we move on to the remaining questions, let's take a quick break and remind everyone about RoleCatcher's AI-powered tools and how they can help you tailor your answers for maximum impact.
Absolutely. Remember, RoleCatcher's AI analyzes the job description and provides personalized feedback on your answers, helping you highlight the skills and experiences that are most relevant to the role. You can even use their video practice feature to affine your delivery and boost your confidence.
It's like having a secret weapon in your interview arsenal.
Yeah.
Okay, let's dive back into the interview questions. Up next, we'll be tackling questions about bioinformatics pipelines, large data sets, and single-cell sequencing data. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. Let's continue our deep dive into mastering bioinformatics scientist interview questions.
So picking up where we left off with question number 8, we have, can you describe your experience with developing bioinformatics pipelines? Now, this sounds pretty advanced.
It can be, but don't let the term intimidate you. Bioinformatics pipelines are simply automated workflows that help streamline complex data analysis tasks. Think of it like creating a recipe for your data analysis.
Okay.
Each step is carefully defined and executed in sequence, making the process more efficient and reproducible.
So instead of manually running each analysis step, you're essentially creating a program that does it for you.
Exactly. It's all about automation and efficiency. Now, if you have experience building these pipelines, be sure to describe them in detail during your interview. What tools and programming languages did you use?
What about the challenges you faced? I bet building these pipelines isn't always smooth sailing.
You're right. Things rarely go perfectly in bioinformatics. Talk about the obstacles you encountered, how you overcame them, and what you learned along the way. This demonstrates your problem-solving skills and your ability to adapt to unexpected situations.
RoleCatcher also mentions that giving a vague answer like, I've worked with pipelines before, just won't cut it. Why is that?
Because it lacks specifics and doesn't showcase your actual abilities. Remember, the interviewer is trying to assess your skills and experience. Provide concrete examples. Name the tools you used, and describe the challenges you overcame. The more detail you can provide, the more confident you'll sound.
Great point. Okay, question number 9 is all about big data. How do you handle large data sets and ensure efficient data storage and retrieval? This one's a biggie in bioinformatics, writer.
Absolutely. Bioinformatics data sets can be absolutely massive, containing gigabytes, terabytes, or even petabytes of information. Employers need to know that you can handle this kind of data volume without getting overwhelmed.
So what are some strategies for efficiently managing and storing large data sets?
There are several approaches you can mention. Compression techniques can help reduce the storage footprint of your data. You can also employ partitioning strategies, dividing your data into smaller, more manageable chunks.
What about cloud-based storage solutions? Those seem to be gaining popularity in bioinformatics.
You're spot on. Cloud platforms like Amazon Web Services, AWS, and Google Cloud Platform, GCP, offer scalable and cost-effective solutions for storing and analyzing massive data sets.
So if you have experience working with these platforms, be sure to highlight it during your interview. It shows that you're comfortable with the latest technologies used in the field. Now, RoleCatcher warns that a lack of experience or awareness of large data sets is a red flag for interviewers. Why is that such a big deal?
Because it suggests you might not be fully prepared for the realities of working in bioinformatics. Large data sets are the norm, and interviewers want to see that you're comfortable dealing with the complexities they bring.
Okay, on to question number 10, which focuses on a specific type of data. Can you describe your experience with analyzing single-cell sequencing data? This seems pretty specialized.
It is, but it's also a rapidly growing area within bioinformatics. Single-cell sequencing allows researchers to study individual cells in unprecedented detail, revealing insights into cellular heterogeneity and complex biological processes.
So if you have experience analyzing single-cell data, this is your chance to shine. What kind of details should you mention?
Be sure to highlight the specific technologies you're familiar with, such as SmartSeq, 10x Genomics, or DropSeq. Discuss the unique challenges of analyzing single-cell data, such as dealing with sparsity and noise, and how you've overcome them.
And just like with the other questions, avoid being vague. Provide concrete examples and showcase your contributions to this exciting field. Now let's shift gears for a moment and talk about a crucial aspect of the interview process: communication skills. Question number 11 focuses on this. Describe a time you had to present complex scientific data to a non-scientific audience. How did you approach it?
This question is all about your ability to translate complex information into something that anyone can understand. Bioinformaticians often work with non-technical colleagues, clients, or stakeholders, and being able to communicate your findings effectively is essential.
So how do you craft a winning answer for this one?
Think of a time when you had to explain a complex concept or analysis to someone without a scientific background. Did you use analogies, visuals, or storytelling to make the information more engaging and accessible?
And what are some common pitfalls to avoid?
Don't underestimate your audience. While you need to simplify the information, avoid talking down to them or using overly technical jargon.
Okay, that makes sense. Now let's move on to a question that explores the ethical dimensions of bioinformatics. Question number 12, which asks, what are some of the ethical considerations in the field of bioinformatics, especially when working with human genetic data?
This is a crucial question as it demonstrates your understanding of the broader implications of your work. Bioinformatics deals with incredibly sensitive information, and it's essential to be mindful of the ethical considerations involved.
So what are some key points to address when answering this question?
Talk about the importance of privacy, confidentiality, and informed consent when working with genetic data. Mention the potential for bias in data analysis and the need for transparency and accountability.
Right. Show the interviewer that you're not just a technical whiz, but also a responsible scientist who takes these issues seriously. And speaking of responsibility, let's not forget about teamwork. Question number 13 focuses on this. How do you handle conflicting viewpoints or disagreements within a research team?
Science is a collaborative endeavor, and disagreements are bound to happen. This question is designed to assess your interpersonal skills and your ability to navigate conflict effectively.
So how do you approach this question?
Describe a time when you encountered conflicting viewpoints within a team. How did you handle this situation? Did you listen actively to different perspectives? Did you seek to understand the underlying reasons for the disagreement?
And what are some things to avoid saying?
Don't come across as someone who is inflexible, dismissive of others' opinions, or quick to place blame. Instead, highlight your ability to communicate effectively, find common ground, and reach a consensus that benefits the team and the research.
Okay, let's switch gears again and talk about a more practical aspect of bioinformatics database development. Question number 14 asks, imagine you're tasked with building a new database for a specific research project. How would you approach this task?
This question allows you to showcase your organizational skills, your problem-solving abilities, and your understanding of database design principles.
So how do you walk them through your approach?
Start by outlining the key steps involved. Would you begin by understanding the research question and the specific data requirements? Would you choose an appropriate database management system?
What about designing the database schema and implementing data validation rules? These seem like crucial steps.
Absolutely. Be sure to mention these aspects as well. And just like with the other questions, avoid getting bogged down in technical jargon. Explain your process in a clear and concise way that someone without a deep understanding of databases can still follow.
Great advice. Okay, we're making great progress. Let's move on to question number 15, which focuses on your ability to adapt and learn new things. Tell me about a time you had to learn a new bioinformatics tool or technique. How did you approach the learning process?
This question is all about your willingness to embrace new technologies and your ability to acquire new skills quickly. Bioinformatics is constantly evolving, so employers want to see that you're a lifelong learner who can keep up with the pace of innovation.
So how do you pick a good example for this question?
Think of a time when you had to step outside your comfort zone and learn something new to complete a project or improve your skills.
Hmm.
Did you take online courses on platforms like Coursera or edX? Did you read tutorials or documentation?
What about seeking guidance from mentors or colleagues? I bet that's a valuable approach.
Absolutely. Mentorship and collaboration are essential for growth in any field, especially in a fast-paced field like bioinformatics.
And what are some things to avoid saying when answering this question?
Don't express reluctance to learn new things or suggest that you're only comfortable with familiar tools and techniques. Bioinformatics is all about embracing innovation, and employers want to see that you share that enthusiasm.
Okay, now for a question that often makes people squirm, question number 16. What are your salary expectations? How do you handle this one gracefully?
This can be a tricky question, but the key is to be prepared. Do your research beforehand. Use resources like RoleCatcher Glassdoor or LinkedIn Salary to understand the typical salary range for bioinformatics scientists with your level of experience in your geographic location.
So don't just throw out a number randomly. Be informed and realistic.
Exactly. And remember, it's a negotiation. Be confident in your worth, but also be flexible and willing to discuss a range.
Now, RoleCatcher also mentions that giving a vague answer like, I'm flexible, isn't ideal. Why is that?
Because it suggests you haven't put much thought into your worth or that you're not confident in negotiating for what you deserve.
Okay, that makes sense. Now let's move on to a question that allows you to showcase your knowledge of the company and this specific role. Question number 17. Why are you interested in this specific position at our company?
This is your chance to demonstrate that you've done your homework and that you're genuinely excited about the opportunity. Highlight the aspects of the position that align with your interests and expertise.
What are some examples of things you could mention?
You could talk about specific research projects or initiatives that you find particularly interesting, or you could mention aspects of the company culture that appeal to you.
And what are some things to avoid saying?
Don't give a generic answer that could apply to any company. Tailor your response to the specific role and company you're interviewing with. Show them you've taken the time to understand what they're all about.
Okay, let's move on to question number 18, which is a bit of a role reversal. Do you have any questions for us? This is your opportunity to turn the tables and interview them.
That's right. Asking thoughtful questions not only helps you gather more information, but also demonstrates your engagement and curiosity.
So what are some good questions to ask?
Prepare a few questions beforehand that show your interest in the company, the team, the research, or the specific role. For example, you could ask about the company's long-term goals, the team's dynamics, or the opportunities for professional development.
And what are some questions to avoid?
Avoid asking questions that could easily be answered with a quick Google search, or that focus solely on salary and benefits.
Okay, let's tackle a classic interview question that can be a bit tricky. Question number 19. What are your strengths and weaknesses?
This question is all about self-awareness and authenticity. When discussing your strengths, focus on those that are relevant to the job and provide specific examples to support your claims.
What about weaknesses? This part always feels a bit awkward.
Choose a weakness that is genuine, but also something you're actively working to improve. Explain the steps you're taking to address it and how you're turning it into a positive.
So instead of saying, I'm a perfectionist, which is a bit cliche, you could say, I sometimes get so focused on the details that I lose sight of the bigger picture, but I'm working on improving my time management and prioritization skills.
Great. Exactly. It shows that you're self-aware and committed to continuous growth.
Okay, last but not least, question number 20. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? This one's all about your ambition and career aspirations.
That's right. Employers want to see that you have a vision for the future and that this position aligns with your long-term goals. You don't need to have a specific job title in mind, but paint a picture of your aspirations and how this role fits into your overall career roadmap.
So what are some key things to convey when answering this question?
Show them you're ambitious, motivated, and eager to contribute to the company's success. Highlight your desire to learn, grow, and take on new challenges.
And what are some things to avoid saying?
Avoid being vague or uncertain about your goals. Employers want to see that you have a sense of direction and that you're committed to achieving your aspirations.
Wow, we've covered a ton of ground. It's amazing how RoleCatcher provides such insightful guidance for each question.
It really is a valuable resource, especially with its AI-powered features that can help you tailor your answers and practice your delivery.
And speaking of RoleCatcher's AI, let's dive deeper into how these tools can take your interview prep to the next level. Stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've explored a ton of common bioinformatics scientist interview questions, but we've saved the best for last.
Yes, we have.
RoleCatcher's AI-powered tools.
Yes, these tools can seriously up your interview game.
I'm all ears. Let's break it down. How exactly does RoleCatcher's AI help with interview prep?
So imagine this. You've spent time crafting thoughtful answers to those tough interview questions,
Right.
but you want that extra edge to make sure they truly resonate with the hiring manager.
Okay, I'm with you.
With RoleCatcher's AI, you can actually input your answers and get personalized feedback,
Wow.
tailored to the specific job you're applying for.
Wait, so it's not just generic advice.
Nope.
It actually analyzes the job description and gives you targeted suggestions.
You got it.
That's incredible.
The AI scans the job description, identifying keywords and phrases that reveal what the hiring manager is truly looking for. Then it assesses your answers, suggesting improvements to highlight the skills and experiences that are most relevant to that specific role.
That's incredible. It's like having an insider's guide to what the hiring manager is looking for.
Yeah, it is.
But what about delivery? I mean, sometimes I get nervous during interviews and my words just don't come out right.
I hear you. That's where RoleCatcher's video practice feature comes in.
Oh, tell me more.
You can actually record yourself answering interview questions
Okay.
and get AI-powered analysis of your performance.
Hold on. So it's like having a virtual mock interview with an AI coach.
Precisely.
Oh, wow.
The AI analyzes your body language, your tone of voice,
Okay.
even your pacing and pauses,
Huh.
providing insights to help you refine your presentation skills and exude confidence.
Wow. This is game-changing stuff.
Yeah.
Especially for someone like me who sometimes lets nerves get the best of me during interviews.
It's a fantastic way to identify areas for improvement in practice until you feel completely comfortable and confident,
Right.
ready to nail that interview.
And in a competitive field like bioinformatics, any edge you can get is invaluable.
Absolutely. RoleCatcher's AI tools provide that edge by helping you tailor your answers, refine your delivery, and ultimately present yourself as the ideal candidate.
This deep dive has been incredibly insightful. We've covered the key skills and experience needed to excel as a bioinformatician, tackled challenging interview questions, and even explored cutting-edge AI tools that can help you stand out from the crowd.
Remember, landing your dream job in bioinformatics is within your reach.
It is.
With hard work preparation and the right resources, you can make it happen.
And don't forget, RoleCatcher is there every step of the way, offering a wealth of information and support to guide you on your journey. So go out there, embrace the challenge, and prepare to make your mark in the exciting world of bioinformatics.